actually the change over.
Do you think?
I keep choosing around.
Put on the sound recording now.
Okay, folks, ladies and gents, maybe we start. Firstly, I'd like to welcome everybody here to, while I'd rather say that welcoming you all to witness the fact that Michael is leaving us. He's leaving us in one sense, but in another sense, he's leaving us with a legacy of dedication to his work, dedication to all his colleagues here, and dedication to, I think, all his friends in Machinery Yard and many friends beyond. And I think that us here in Machinery Yard should be honoured and privileged to maybe be the first to actually acknowledge the fact that he is leaving us, to begin a new chapter in his life. And maybe just on that now, I'll just ask Jerry Corrigan here to, in a sense, by saying a few words, maybe to just turn over the first page of this new chapter of Michael's life.
It gives me great pleasure to do so. It's not the first page, it might be a paragraph, maybe a few lines, but I don't feel necessarily the right person to give you that speech here in the sense that I don't know you that particularly well in the times during your work, but I know you for other reasons. And I know from down at the Bridge restaurant you're a fair judge of a piece of beef. But some people say he's not as good a judge of the duck. It's been rather late in the day, Michael, when I find out that you're finally going or whatever, but I'm glad to hear that you're still staying on some capacity or other. No doubt we'll see you around the place, and from my own point of view, on behalf of most people I'd say in the machinery yard, there's no one you'll be severely missed, probably by everybody actually. I wish you well, happiness and health and everything in the future. There's no use in wishing you to take it easy if you didn't get your pair of gold trimmed slippers around rest in your retirement. But good luck in the future, Michael. All the best.
Thanks very much. And now maybe just to keep it going, we'll call on Michael O'Reilly just to get a few words.
Well, I suppose I'll just start by saying I know Michael about 28 years. I was here a couple of months before I actually met him. In fact, we almost met by accident. I used to see a lot of little notes and drawings stuck around the place, stuck on the tables, on the desks, on the phone even. And Michael would be in early in the morning to get the lads out, and he'd maybe come back after 5. And I never actually met the man for a couple of months. But the one thing that struck me about these little notes was they're very neatly written and very detailed drawings. And I said to one of the boys here, who's this Sweeney guy? Never met him. And Tom O'Connor said to me, oh, Sweeney, he says, the quiet man from Ballinamore. I can't believe he says you haven't come across him yet. As it happened, that evening I was driving out the gate, and the next thing I saw this beetle come in on 2 wheels at high speed. I got a hell of a shock. And I looked, and this guy was behind the steering and him in the King's laughing. But we met on that occasion anyway. But over the years, Michael has been a great help to us. All of us who worked in the stores. I suppose we came into the business with very little knowledge of pipe work or anything like that. Pumps and meters and all the whole treatment plants and all of that type of thing. And Michael was a tremendous help to us with all his little detailed drawings and little notes that he gave us, particulars of all types of equipment, and everything was done in detail and everything was drawn out. And it made life very easy for us when we went to order stuff. You rarely had to get back to Michael with a query. People knew what you were talking about, knew exactly what you wanted. And this is a difficult day, I know, for him. And it's a difficult day for us, because we're losing a great friend. I know we'll meet him again and we'll come across him, but it's the end of an era. It's the closing of a chapter. And this is a big organisation, and we all know that we'll all be done it out, regardless of what your role or what your title is here. Life goes on, work gets done, maybe not as well, maybe better, who knows. But we're losing a great friend, I think. We're losing a very talented man to the organisation. Michael could work at anything, give him any type of material, wood, PVC, any type of material, Michael would measure it, cut it, shape it, and make something useful out of it.
A rabbit.
It could be riveted, I could fix it.
But, you know, many times he'd come to the counter, maybe usually near enough 5 o'clock and everybody going home, rap the counter, "Hey Benny, anybody up there?" And you'd go down to the counter and Michael would have something under his arm, a little toy or some little bit of equipment, maybe a wheel of a pram, a golf club or a putter, pair of spectacles, anything.
A watch on one
A
occasion.
watch. He'd be looking for the loan of a drill bit. He'd be looking for the taps or the dies. Would it be terrible to ask for a taste of super glue? It's a famous one. He'd take out the super glue and he'd stick this strap of a watch or whatever, and he'd clean it up and put it back. No one would ever know it was there. But he was great help to us. You know, we used to bring in the little notes and memos and letters into the courthouse, and you know, if you wanted anything in a hurry, Michael would jump in the car and go in. He wouldn't leave it at reception, or he wouldn't leave it in the general office. It was left on the table of the person who wanted it. Now, I suppose that was before the days of email. And I'd say when Michael had it in the car, it wasn't snail mail, it was faster than fast, as he used to say. We all knew the speed he drove down Barnum Road.
It wouldn't be unheard for something to be in the car for a week or 40 days.
No, I'm not saying about that. But as I say, you know, he had a tremendous talent. He had great hands on him. He had a great use of the English language. He had a great vocabulary, as you all know, the little notes and pieces of paper and reports that he had done. He was an all-round man. But I think when he got in behind the wheel of a car, I think that's when he became a chancer. And take a look at that yard right there, it's all cut up. Cut up from handbrake turns and all of that crap. But anyway, Michael, you're a pleasure to work with. You're a great colleague, a great friend, a great help. And on behalf of all those of us involved in the stores, I wish you long and happy retirement. And who knows, maybe Calvin and Leitrim might meet in the qualifiers and we might meet up on the holding stand. But I know you'll be in and out of the place, and I'll certainly be phoning you looking for information for many years to come yet. So thank you for everything, and I wish you health in your retirement.
Well done, Michael. Now maybe something.
I suppose Michael said there, I know Michael about 22 years, and where I wouldn't have worked with him directly, I was working for housing when I was in here, but I used to have to do a lot of bits and pieces for him, like when Jimmy would be off and that, and I worked for a few years in the army before that and in private industry. I was just amazed by the talents of this guy when I came to the council, like, you know. And I have a couple of very little incidents that will always stay with me. I remember one time I had the oldest girl now, she's 19, but she was 2 or 3 years of age, and she had a cat. And she'd my heart broke to get a house for this cat or some sort of a thing for him to sleep in, and I mentioned it to Michael. And I thought it'd never come, like, you know, this, you could ask Michael something like that, but his attention to detail was unbelievable, and he'd arrived one morning with this thing in the back of the car, like, and we still have it at home, and it really was a work of art, like, for a cat. Like, that somebody would be so thoughtful and put so much work and effort into doing something for a child. I remember another time, and I still have it at home, the young fella had a snooker table and he broke the triangle of it, and I had no good with timber. It's one of the things I won't touch, and I asked Michael, would you make me a triangle? I brought him into a wee bag of balls. That's what he needed for the size. And I guarantee you around the Crucible or any other of these places, the triangles that are there, the attention to detail and the dovetailing or whatever, I don't know what kind of joints to wear, but it's remarkable, and I still have that at home today. And I suppose as a shop steward for the contrary fuckers that's in this place, I would have had a few dealings with Michael, but one thing, Jerry said there, he was a good judge of a piece of beef. He was a very, very good judge of character. And he was extremely fair and reasonable. You know, and no matter how annoyed or how aggravated he was with somebody, and he had many's and many's the occasion to be annoyed with people, he never, to my knowledge, would go any further than that gate with it. And he was very fair and very reasonable and approachable about anything. And it really was a pleasure to work with him down the years. And without fear of contradiction, I would say he was one of the most talented men that I ever worked with in every field. And I've learned a lot from him, and he was a very good friend to me, and I wish you the very best, Michael, in whatever capacity you go on.
Michael, we'll make this presentation on the council main here of the yard, and I wish you health and happiness with it.
Thanks very much, Ken. Thanks to all of you.
Kevin, sit up. No, no, take another one. Let's wait.
This is my son.
Child sat on and cracked it badly. Now it was badly done, and I said to Michael, God, when could you fix this? Could you fix this bow? He says, leave it with me, give me a week. So what he done was, he took the ferrule of a fishing rod. If anybody's into fishing, they know what a ferrule is. Joins the two parts of the rod together. Michael took one off a rod and he fixed the bow of the fiddle. Now that fiddle went on afterwards to win the under 10 flag Cole in Ulster in Warrenpoint. So that's the type of a job that he done on the bow. Then I go back a little bit. I remember working with Michael before he or I came to the county council back in 1965. It was up in Dunboyne in Meath. He was working for a building contractor by the name of Flanagan, I think, and I was serving my time with Joe Cullivan. And we stayed in the same caravan together, and the grub was just mighty. There was a man by the name of what is his name?
Jack Rudden.
Jack Rudden. Mickey Bannon, Mickey Boy. Jack Rudden, that's the man I was thinking about today. Jack Rudden he'd put on your dinner fight in the evening, and you wouldn't get it in Steve Russell at the moment. It was just fantastic now, you know. But that's as far back I know Michael, since 1965. But I concluded that, but I'd just like to say, Michael, you're a gentleman to know and a gentleman to work with. And that's the highest praise that we can give you in sanitary services. And may you have a long, happy and peaceful and healthy retirement.
Michael, I suppose I worked directly with him probably longer than any other engineer, and I've had many happy days working with him. And I suppose when you work with Michael, you learn, and you're always learning working with Michael, that he doesn't like to do jobs properly, he likes to do jobs perfectly. You also discover he has a huge range of skills: carpentry, joinery, plumbing work, metal work, particularly riveting, all sorts of building work. He can repair anything and everything. And he's put himself and his skills and his car at the disposal of the council and his many friends and colleagues over the years. Unusually in this day and age for a man with his sharp mind and all those skills, he's a very modest person. He's modest in all things, except one little thing, and that is he has a habit of boasting about his cars. We're all probably tired of hearing of his 300,000 mile Jetta that could do anything, or his darling Beetle that would go through any wet field in Cavan in the middle of winter and not get stuck. It brought a 5-ton pressure filter down to Lacken Lake, and the same day brought a compressor over the Glan Gap in 4 feet of snow. So it hasn't all been roses working with Michael. You know, he likes perfection, and I found after about 10 years of perfection, I was very much stressed. And this was compounded by the fact that for a whole year I listened to the first line of a song beautiful, beautiful Bundoran. Well, I didn't really find it funny, lads, you know. I also heard another song for a whole year that started Daisies and Primroses. Now, I came to a breaking point and I took drastic action. And, you know, I have never admitted this to anybody before, but Michael suspected it and he accused me. But the truth is, on 2 occasions, I tried to kill Michael. This is not a joke. Very briefly, the first time I sent him out in a kayak off Donegal, and within minutes he capsized. And I just didn't have it in me to shove his head down. The second time, on my suggestion, and I kid you not, last summer, at 64 and a half years of age, and if he doesn't mind me saying so, his heart a little bit to the Kildare side, he went surfing with the bodyboard. And how he didn't drown, I don't know. He tried himself out, and maybe the waves just weren't big enough. So Mick, first of all, I look forward to another attempt next summer. Second of all, I believe the manager is considering making a presentation, but I know he has a difficulty because he doesn't think you deserve it. I'll give you a hint. This thing is really useful for a budding Leitrim surfer, because when you arrive at the beach with this piece of equipment, you're going to look really cool. This thing is going to attract a lot of attention, particularly female attention. And my only word of advice is it won't suit tall females.
On behalf of the water and sewerage takers of County Cavan, I'd like to present Michael with this envelope.
Thanks very much, Brian.
All right.
Thanks very much, Brian.
And I hope he doesn't have to
Use it to him.
use it too long.
Thanks very much, Brian.
The first time that I met Michael Sweeney, about 15 years ago, maybe more, alone down in West Cavan. And Michael asked me, when I went up to the reservoir, it's up about maybe 100 yards up of the main road, to carry a 10-gallon drum of chlorine up the hill.
Oh, you're a young fella, that's it.
Anyway, White was one side and I was the other. We came to a little ditch. We topped it up on the ditch. Up the hill, kept going like hell and bobbing and glowing and more. I didn't know him at the time, so I said to his captain down there, he says, who is that? He said, that's Michael Sweeney. Well, I says, he's a bloody holiday. Only for shame's sake. But I was getting vexed. I kept going, says, hey, he came from Cavan, I came from this in the Cavan, and I carry with any man. That's the first time I met Michael. Then I went into water caretaker, George from water caretaker. Back in 10 or 11, 20 years. And I've known Michael since. And he's very approachable. I rang him Saturday night, Sunday night, Monday, Tuesday. 7 days a week. Michael was always there. And he was approachable and helpful to do anything for, and I think speak for every water and sewage caretaker here, that Michael has been a gentleman to approach at any time of day or night. And I found him, and everybody here found him very helpful to the caretakers that we worked on. And I wish him many, many happy years in retirement and a good health.
Thanks a million, Brian. Thank you.
And it's copy of report received from John Scanlon, Lord Reston. Re Michael Sweeney, Tullyhusker, Ballinamore, County Leitrim. Above named person called here some weeks ago seeking or inquiring regarding prospects of employment as a clerk of works with Cavan County Council. He received technical education, chiefly in building construction at Ballinamore Technical School, and I understand was an outstanding pupil, receiving first place in Ireland in junior grade building construction. He commenced work as an apprentice foreman with J.J. Flanagan Contractor on Ballyconnell sewage scheme in 1959 at the age of 18 years. I can vouch that at that period he was accurate and skilled at levelling, boring and setting out works. Since then he has been foreman in charge of works for Mr. Flanagan on various public works and private buildings, Garda Barracks, Creamery, office blocks, private houses, etc., including the construction of reinforced concrete water tower at Lowe. He is unemployed at present, this is very well put, as Mr. Flanagan has some business difficulties. Now, Mr. Sweeney, and in brackets, a non-drinker and non-smoker, has he thinks enough of practical work, including measuring up quantities, etc., for final and interim payments, and would prefer to have a white-collar type of job. I told him to apply for the post of draftsman, recently advertised, although he has little experience of this work. He is a thoroughly practical and intelligent young man, and I would recommend him for any work available, for example, part-time in the housing engineer's offices, for levelling, site works, etc., or for preliminary work, say in connection with the proposed takeover of schemes formerly carried out by the Special Employment Schemes Office. Interesting to see what happened next. Jim Hearn was housing engineer and he wrote to the county engineer. In connection with the letter received from Mr. Scanlon, there are a number of housing sites which need to be surveyed at the present moment. The site at Butlersbridge in particular is particularly urgent, and the housing site at Ballygymstuff could also be contoured. Mr. Sweeney attended a recent interview for the position of draftsman with Cavan County Council and impressed as being very capable in the carrying out of his duties. I would recommend therefore that Mr. Sweeney be employed in a temporary capacity in the grade of foreman at Clerk of Works. It should be pointed out, however, that the term of Mr. Sweeney's employment is likely to be of short duration. Probably in the region of 4 to 6 weeks. And this should be brought to Mr. Sweeney's specific attention. So we looked for approval and the approval. I wish to inform you that the County Manager proposes to appoint you as temporary Clerk of Works in housing schemes. At the moment it is not certain how long the work will last, but it may very well be for not more than 4 to 6 weeks. Remuneration is at the rate of £19 per week, and they just asked it then if we take it. If you look back on that, it's a long 6 weeks. You should treasure that. Can I just say though, apart from reading that and the perspectives it gave on Michael, that he has fulfilled his job as a public servant and a faithful servant of Cavan County Council so very well, and as Peter Cork has said so eminently about him, that he is a perfectionist. He's a man of tremendous skills and commitment, and he represents what is very best in the public service, because no task was too onerous for him. He showed people how to work, and he knew how to work himself. If he was leaving here this evening with a total detachment from Cavan County Council, I think we would be phenomenally sad, because he's not a person we want to lose his friendship or his ability. We want to retain that as best we can. And for years, Michael had a problem, looking back on it, in relation to the job he was doing, because for years the man was underpaid in relation to the responsibility he accepted, in relation to his personal commitment and everything else. That has moved on, and no later than a few weeks ago he has been appointed as Executive Engineer Honorary with Cavan County Council. And now he's he has moved on to be a consultant, and you know, it's a logical progression and probably at the right level, because to say that his intimate knowledge of all the services of this county, his intimate knowledge of the people that worked in this county, his intimate knowledge of what was required to get people to work in this county, his intimate knowledge of what was required to get the facilities working in this county are fairly unique. He is, if you were looking for the best person you could send out on behalf of Cavan County Council, this was the man. No doubt at all, this was the man. He knew how to get the job done, he knew how to keep services going, he knew how to talk to people, he knew how to effing blind when things went wrong. He didn't do it that way though. He had a phrase for that as well, which Peter didn't mention. The snevin' snotty orphans, wasn't it? But this county owes him an enormous debt, because if we are to survive and to show ourselves as a good local authority and get the job done, from day one this guy was shown that way. And since 1968, when he came here first, he has exemplified all that is best and all that we should wish to have in our employment. It gives me great sadness on this occasion to see him moving away to the next phase of his life, but at least he's still staying with us. And we felt, and all your colleagues around here felt, Michael, that it would be bad if you had nothing to do apart from consultancy over the next while. So I think they've decided to, is there a slide in here? The only difference being the work has been done. And there's the key. On behalf. The other thing that I would say, I would like to thank him on my own behalf for all the personal little bits and pieces he did for me when I came here and throughout my time here. He has been phenomenally helpful, and he even showed me where my manholes were, and he marked them so that I wouldn't lose them again.
Thank each and every one of you for attending here this evening. I see caretakers and overseers, some from far-flung corners of the county, retired people who I'll be joining this evening. Yeah, you're all more than welcome, and I'm honoured by your presence. I would like to thank all of the speakers for their warm and generous tributes. Maybe I should be feeling me head to see that it's not starting to swell a bit after all the nice things that have been said about me.
Sure, you didn't mean a word of it, mate.
Maybe I just go on to give a brief history, as the manager said. I joined the council in 1968, February to be exact. And at the time, I have to thank John Scanlon for encouraging me, the late John Scanlon, for assisting me and encouraging me to seek a job with the county council. Now at the time, as the county manager said, or as he read out, there was a job, a post of craftsman advertised. So I applied anyway, but I was found out at the interview. Now, sometime later, I got the offer of the job in housing as a temporary clerk work, so I grabbed that. And for the next maybe 3 months or so, I worked on survey work on, there were greenfield sites for housing estates. There was one in Butlersbridge, one in Virginia, one in Ballyconnell. I can't remember where they were all. But anyway, that lasted for about 3 months. So after that then I was shipped down to Ballyconnell, not to the Ballyconnell area, and particularly in Swan Bar and Black Lion, to look after the completion of 2 sewer schemes there. That brought me up to about sometime in 1970, when I came back into
Come in here, lads. Don't start by saying you control the van, don't worry. Oh, Kevin. In the front.
Did you bring her down the field at Killishan? You love the one she's like.
Michael! That's great. Thanks very much. You couldn't stay a minute for your talk.
You're looking well yourself anyway.
My battery ran out 10 minutes before the speech was on. Did you get the whole of Sweeney?
The life most still speaking for it, I'm going to have to suck my notes. First of all, I suppose thank Peter